Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster and I'm with the amazing
Sandra Scott, and our guest today is a great friend of mine and I'm delighted he could come to see us today. Kevin.
And I'm Kevin Rogers. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us today, Kev. We're going to have a little chat about everything that you've been doing and all about you and everything like that in a minute. But first, we celebrate the kids. So any young people, little people who've done amazing things this week, we're going to give them a shout out to say well done and thank you. So I'm going to go first. So it's September the 1st. The kids are going back to school. Some have gone back today, and then some are going back for the rest of this week. And I just want to say a big well done to them all, and really enjoy this time because you're back in school and you're with your friends, and hopefully there's no bubbles, and they haven't got to be and hopefully they're going to stay in school. So just massive well done for everything that you've done for the past sort of 18 months, 2 years, and really enjoy this term with all your friends. So yeah, so that's my celebrating the kids. I'm giving a big shout out to them. What about you, San?
Just all my little munchkins. One of my young people has been quite poorly over the summer. He's had the norovirus, he's had COVID as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them. They're all come back to me, all my little ones, so I'm really excited to see them all sort of starting this week as well.
Excuse me. Yeah,
they got them quite early with the Spanish and that, so that's quite good as well. And my lad, who isn't a little person, he's 23, but he's had COVID as well. And all he was worried about was how they were managing and where. So I was dead proud of him and that. But he's okay too, so that's it.
Brilliant. And about you,
What about you, Kev? Any little people?
Yeah, well, I actually introduced a young group of young entrepreneurs, 11 of them, to outdoor education recently. And to see the transition from them when they first joined Merseyside Community Training, where they wouldn't speak to anybody, they would make eye contact, the self-worth, the self-ambition was pretty much through the ground. And to see them on zip wires, archery, having a laugh, having banter, paddling on a kayak, splashing each other, just proved to me that the resilience in young people should never be underestimated, and we should celebrate them every opportunity that we got. And one of the huge things that I'm also super proud of, there's currently 239 young people who are members of Merseyside Community Training, and a staggering 56.5% of them have already secured a positive destination within employment or training. So super proud of our young people.
Amazing. That deserves a big clap and a well done to them all. And put your hand over your shoulder and give yourselves a little pat on the back. Well done. That's amazing. And to the staff there as well, because the staff and the volunteers and everybody who helps.
We're all young at heart. We're all young at heart.
Yes, we are indeed. We are, hopefully. And success this week, something amazing that's happened to you personally. San, what's happened to you this week? I know there's been lots of things.
I've successfully moved house.
Oh, big job.
Which has been quite a palaver, but talk about with a little help of my friends. And Kevin, you might know, put it on Facebook. Helen, this is what a good mate Helen is, right? Not to me face though. Helen came out all day Saturday, all day Sunday, offered Monday, and I was like, no, please have a life. Came round yesterday morning and yesterday evening and went to the tit and everything. Honest to God, and it is, I've never climbed so many stairs because there's 3 flights where I was, and it's just been mental. But I'm sort of in now. It's very echoey, as there's no pictures up or anything like that yet, and I've still got a few bits and bobs to get. I'm in need of a washer and a little fridge freezer and some wardrobes and that, but that's it, and then we'll get there. So that's been a task, but it's done and I'm really happy. So there we go. So that's good. What about you, Helen?
So I successfully climbed about 3 Mount Everest up and down the stairs, helping you move, wasn't it? So we did a great job. We'll have like moon cheeks like peaches, won't we? Because we just climbed on down. But my success this week is, so it's my mum's birthday today. So happy birthday to my mum. She won't be listening because I think she's and we've just been to see Hairspray, which was amazing. So it was on in the Empire, and it was just lovely. Yeah, to be back in, and I don't think you realise how much you miss it until you're there. And the whole of the audience at the end, everybody was standing up, everybody was dancing. It was just, and the staff at the Empire were brilliant. You had to do either provide your COVID certificate that you'd had your jabs or a lateral flow negative test. And it was just dead smooth, all that, you know, everybody was in, everyone was safe. Some people had masks on and stuff. And it was just amazing, and it was just lovely. And I think the actual cast, you could see it on their faces, you know, because they've missed it so much that they were just absorbing. And I thought, they don't want to go off, they just want to stay on all afternoon, you know, it was amazing. So
favorite musical as well. It's seen Hairspray, Kevin.
Yeah, I've got to try and top that now, haven't I, really? Some of my successful, I think mine's more of a personal success, and quite proud, because I've not long moved house myself, and we've got a nice little cottage in Sefton Village, so it's quite quaint around there. I'm proud to say the punch bowl is in staggering distance, I mean, in arm's reach from where I live. And we kind of thought bank holiday weekends are good for DIY, aren't they? So I had a brave attempt of decorating the front room, which I thought take me a day and a half tops. Tried 2.5 days, and I ate all over because I didn't realise that woodwork is so low to the ground, and when it takes 3 coats, it also takes a bit of your willpower and soul along the way. But I'm proud to say I hung in there and I finished the task, and I even got a compliment off the better half, so I must have done a good job.
Hooray! Well done, you. Well done, well done. And Jo Swinburne's listening in, and she says, "Great friend, glad you in." I think she means that glad you're in your house. So that's cool. So that's amazing. Yeah. And so now Kev's joined us, and thank you so much for giving your time tonight. We're going to play this or that. So, Sani, you going first, or am I going first?
I can go first this week if you like. Okay,
yep.
Kevin, sailing or mountain climbing?
Oh, they're 2 of my favourite pastimes, actually. I actually have in my office at home, there's 2 big portraits, one with the yachts on at the sailing, and the other one is mountaineering, which I'm probably going to have to say now, but a bit older and a bit more large around the waist. I'll probably have to say it's sailing now, because it's not as strenuous on your knees or on your shoulders, carrying your rucksack up the hill. Both of them do share that element of being out in the great outdoors, you know, letting them being free, you know, no technology to distract you. But I'll probably have to say now more of a lad of leisure, so I'll probably have to lean towards sailing. Would be my favourite pastime.
Ooh, I'm gonna go mountain climbing, 100%. In the mountains, I love it. I like both. So I get seasick, so I'm not very good. So I like a paddle boardy, you know, kayaky type thing, but or a little rowing boat or something. I'm not good on big boats. So sailing wise, I'm not really. But I love the sea. But no, mountain climbing, 100%. What about you, Sam? Now you are a water baby.
I like walking. I'll walk a long walk. Do you know what I mean? I've got no problem with walking for miles, but you know, nice stroll and that. I'll run. I can run up the escalator. I can run up the stairs in Liverpool 1, no bother. Get up to the top of the John Lee as a flash. Yeah, that's a mountain. But I like. In terms of sailing on a yacht or climbing, I'd go up Milvama. That's all right, you know. And canoeing, I've had to go at canoeing recently, which was just a miracle, which was the best thing ever, and I really, really enjoyed it. But it was dead calm. If there was a ripple or anything, that'd be it. I'd be out. So I'm not brave like that. But there we go. I'd rather brave. Okay, go on, Hel.
Okay, the sun or the moon, Kev?
Ooh, I'm going to have to say the moon, because I find it more tranquil and peaceful, especially on a full lunar moon, when it kind of has a big presence and illuminates the ground beneath it. And to give you an example, we're getting a bit older now, me and my friends, and when we used to walk a lot, we used to call ourselves the mountain lads, but now we're a bit older, we call ourselves the mountain goats, because we take it in our stride and we sometimes tend to go off-piste. But that's more because we're talking rather than navigating. And we kind of done a bit of a night walk not so long ago, up on in the Mulwins, on a mountain called Kinnicht. And we were up there, and you could just see for miles the unspoilt view, and the tranquility and the peace was just fantastic. So I'd have to say moon, just on that experience alone.
Wow. What about you, Sam?
And we didn't get lost.
Well done.
Sun, hand done. Sunshine. I love it. I love the sunshine in the morning. When I like being sitting out when you can eat outside. I like the daytime. I just love the sunshine. It's great.
I love the sunshine, but I also like the moon. And I'd love to experience like what Kev said then, you know, like going up in the moonlight.
As for a full moon, that's the time to stay in your house and close your curtains and hope the werewolf doesn't come.
In case you hear any howling.
No, full moon, I'm in. That's it. No. Nightmare.
Go on, Sam. What about you? Next one.
Okay. Next one for me. Now, Kevin has been to all manner of events, haven't you? So,
you could say that.
Oh, you have. So, would your favourite event be a garden party at the, what should we say, at Buckingham Palace, or an event at Sandringham Palace?
Ooh, I would probably have to say, and I've experienced both, and I would probably have to say Buckingham Palace for me, because one, I'm a bit of a royalist on the quiet, and that's the Queen's home. So yeah, so I was really, really honoured to be there. And I've done that event, I'd say at least 6 times, where I've hosted young people who have achieved their Duke of Edinburgh's award, and I've welcomed them into the palace apartments, hosted them for the day, introduced them to a celebrity, introduced them to other young people who have achieved their gold award in the DofE, and I've also had the privilege of introducing them to a member of the royal family, from the former late Duke of Edinburgh himself, the Earl of Wessex, the Princess Royal, William, you name it, we've worked with them. And to see these young people celebrate their success on the lawn of Buckingham Palace, young people like me from Knowsley and Liverpool and Sefton from Liverpool City region, be invited to such an auspicious occasion and be the one in the limelight is absolutely fantastic for me. And that's what I witnessed at Buckingham Palace. Sandringham is where I graduated my masters, so it wasn't as it was more pressure and terrifying. So out of those two, I'd have to say Buckingham Palace, because my mum was with me at Sandringham, you see. To be good. Yeah.
I'd love to go to Buckingham Palace for the garden party. I just think it looks amazing. Yeah, I just think it's a lovely. You've been, haven't you, Sam?
Through my work with Kevin at the DofE, through like voluntary stuff. I was basically Kevin himself. We share a passion, like yourself, about inclusivity. So for me, it was about enabling our young people. When I was at the ADHD Foundation, people with ADHD, young people to access things, because sometimes the school wouldn't let them go on trips and do things, or they're all excluded, or if someone has an example, they mightn't feel comfy, and it's making it accessible to them as well. So the whole DofE award, and Kevin was just inspirational for me with this, talked about accessibility, and he looks after all the special needs, so that why can't everyone do these things? Because it's such a confidence builder, and it blows us away as well. So I was invited to the Buckingham Palace, which was a big surprise when it came, and I just loved it. And I met Sophie, Countess of Wessex, because it was a massive day, and there was all famous people there. They all came to speak. Yeah. I was there with educational establishments and that, and they had a lovely lady from Dragon's Den. It was just fab, and we just met some really inspirational people, and it was just such a good event. And the highlight of my day, Kevin, was everyone tells me I have my T2 week. When I went to Buckingham Palace, the Queen, I was served tea exactly the colour I like it, and I took a photo straight away, because you weren't allowed to take a photo in the palace or anything. So win-win. Oh, I was delighted. So I know that I have my tea correctly. So I was made up with myself. So there we go.
That's what you call expensive taste, isn't it, Sandra?
It is.
Well done. Well done. Okay. A time machine or a magic wand? Kev?
Oh, I'd probably say a magic wand, on the grounds that I can improve some of the indifferences and challenges that I see today, because I see a lot of challenge and a lot of struggle and a lot of opportunities that are being not presented to everybody. So I'd love to change that magic, sprinkle that magic wand over and put everybody on an even keel and make it balanced in a fair market, a fair opportunity. And then the true talent will shine. So I would probably say a magic wand to help people release their inner magic and let them shine for the right reasons. That would be me.
How
Perfect
profound
answer.
was that? Clearly mine was lottery related.
Oh, well, I'm glad I went first.
Kevin come out with a big deep. I was thinking, well, I could magic a washing machine, magic the wardrobe, and so on. Yeah, a towel rail. So
Heated towel rail. Heated towel rail.
Towel rail. Ding. Sunshine. Ding. No moon. Ding. What about you, Helen?
So, Joe, well, I was even worse than you guys because I was like, oh, I could be like Harry Potter, couldn't I? Like, my magic wand.
The Spelliarmus. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was there with Hermione. Come on, let's do this. So, but yeah, I agree with Kev on that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Joey Swinburne, she says magic wand as well. No, I think a magic wand would be cool. I'd like to freeze people and make them fly off and things like that. Not as good as yours, Kev. Not as good as yours. Last one for you, San.
Yeah, okay. Last one. Skiing holiday or beach holiday?
Ooh, that's.
I've asked a few.
Oh, I enjoy both actually. Because of the current moment now, I'd probably say a beach holiday for me, so I could just stop, reflect, recharge, take in a good book, soak in some vitamin D, and maybe something with an alcoholic percentage as well while I'm there. And just, I think a good switch off and recharge would be great because there's been a lot of change for me over the past 6 months. I've changed house, I've changed job. For the first time in a long time, I've got my own car again. We've got, so there's a lot of change. So for me, it would be a nice little lounger, sand, sun, sangria, and maybe a good book.
Yeah. I'd probably go skiing. But skiing with the sunshine, so you can ski in your t-shirt in the sun and you're at the top of the mountain and have a little beer, and I just love it. And I'm not a great sunbather. I get fed up after about 4 minutes. I think I've been there for about 4 hours, and once I'm dry out of the pool, I have to go back in again. So, What about you, San? I want to know what San's would be.
Oh, yeah, at the minute, a nice sun. I love skiing holiday, but it's the second holiday. It's not your own one.
Not your main. Yeah.
No,
okay, last one for me. Abseil or zip wire?
Are we all
I'd have to go for zip wire because you'd have to push me off both of them. And I think a zip wire would be less fatal. My feet are flat for a reason, and that's to stay on the ground. But charity a few years ago, I'd done the zip wire in North Wales, the largest one in Europe, and raised some funds. Wow, that was an experience, shall we say. And I nearly discovered that adrenaline had a colour and it was nearly brown as when I was doing that. But to cut a long story short, it was like the initial takeoff was terrifying, but then everything just seems to slow down and it just went quiet and it felt like I was floating until I hit the stopper at the end. Then I realised I was Yeah, but abseiling, absolutely not.
What about you, San?
Abseil. You can control the rate down. You're in control of it yourself as you go down, aren't you? But Kevin,
but you've got to take that step off, haven't you?
I know. We just lean back and go step. Like when you do something like against a mountain or the only place. But Kevin, you'll laugh at this. So I was taken to Peck's Hill.
Oh yeah, I know it.
On a date, and I was like. So that was like my first thing I did. But you can put it's not a big drop, but you can put your feet against the wall as you go down. You've got to be on a zip wire. It's that's it. Yeah,
zip wire 100% for me. Exactly same reasons for Kev. I couldn't step off and walk down. I'd be no, I'd hate it. And like my Phil's done abseiled the cathedral, and they actually dangle and he's got like nothing to put his feet on, and he's done it about 4 times. And I've just videoed him and they've all gone, "Are you having a go?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just in video and I'll just take the photograph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not for me, thank you. Jo says zip wire. She goes, yeah, zip wire. Wee. So yeah, I think, and I'd like to do that big one in North Wales as well. I've done the caves. I did the below, which is at the same site where you go down in the caves and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's epic. It is really epic. Yeah.
So now
you
we know more. Yeah. We know more about Kev now, but San, you're going to introduce him, and we're going to find out all of the amazing and exciting things that he's been up to.
Okay, brilliant. So I know Kevin through a mutual friend, Robbie Johnson, and Kevin's just an amazing human who you would just get on with straight away as soon as you meet him. He's currently the business development manager, as he said, for Merseyside Community Training, which he's going to speak about in a bit, and what their offer is for young people, the Wirral Bay, and what's available to them, because it's really about a lot of young people need a confidence boost at the moment from what they've been through over 16, 18, however long, and it's helping them. But why I really wanted him to come on is to talk about what he's done. He's done so much voluntary work, with young people in various forms, which we'll talk about, and then why he's done amazing things as well, which you've just had a little insight to. But you're just fantastic, aren't you? And a lot of stuff you've done is in the maritime sector as well. So I know you joined the Sea Cadets, didn't you, in 1990 as a junior cadet, and then that was the start of your journey, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, so
really?
that was, I came up because we moved house when we were young. I grew up in Whiston, and then we moved to the other side of Knowsley, which when you're a young person feels miles away, but Knowsley's not that big if you know it. And we moved to Huyton, and because we didn't know anybody, me and my brother just didn't go over the front door. So my parents were like the opposite of any other parents. When a young person got grounded, they were kept in, and we got grounded, we were kicked out. It was that type of thing. So they said, we've got to get these young boys getting back involved in society and developing and growing and doing some enrichment. So my mum and dad encouraged us to join the Sea Cadets. It was Huyton unit we joined, TSI and Duke, back in 1990. And they found out my dad was ex-Royal Navy, so he ended up joining too. So we couldn't have a night off, because my dad was going as well. But joking aside, I was involved with the Sea Cadets for quite some time, and I got from the junior cadet and reached the dizzy heights of petty officer cadet. And that gave me an opportunity to gain qualifications. That gave me the interest initially in maritime and waterborne activities. That's why I enjoy my sailing, canoeing, kayaking, and also got me involved with doing some extracurricular and adventurous training as well, like the abseiling. Wasn't a fan, but more interested in the walking. Camping, I'm now at the stage if there's no ensuite, there's no Kev. That's how it kind of fits with me now. But we've done a wild camp not so long ago, me and some friends, and it just brought back those memories, which was fantastic. And some of the young people I was cadets with, I'm still actually in contact with now. So I've developed friends for life, skills for life, and it gave me opportunities that have helped me shape the man I am today. So when I became 18, you had to leave the Sea Cadets. And I thought, well, actually, the Sea Cadets has given me so much. I want to give something back. And while I was there, I got my Duke of Edinburgh Award, bronze, silver, and gold. And I went to the Palace with my brother, St James's Palace, and we were able to take mum and dad to witness. And I wore my sailor's uniform at St James's Palace, and His Royal Highness came up to me, who I didn't know at the time was like a very high-ranking naval officer. And we had a bit of a private conversation, really. He kind of ignored everybody because I dared to wear the uniform and stand out. He came over and then made a beeline for me. So it just proved to me that standing out's not always a negative thing. It can have a positive impact as well. Embrace your differences, own your differences, because they make you who you are, which I'm really passionate about. So then I became an adult. I got that scary world of work where I had to go to college and get an education and do all that. But education wasn't for me. It really wasn't. I'm not academic. I'm more hands-on. I'm more people. I'm more laying on the job. So I kind of got my first job as a van lad at Murray's Airport Transfer Services in Huyton Village. Don't know if anybody ever used them. And then what was ironic is the gentlemen who ran that company, Stan and John Murray, both had the same surname, but were not related. Stan was involved in Sea Cadets. He was a lieutenant commander in South Liverpool, and they were looking and struggling for adult volunteers. So that's where I went as an adult volunteer at the age of 18 and supported TS Conway. And then at the age of 19, I was appointed as a volunteer, their commanding officer. So I was actually leading a cadet detachment in South Liverpool. And I'd done that for the next 14 years, believe it or not.
Wow. But at
Yeah.
19, that's a big sort of commitment and responsibility, isn't it? At 19.
Well, I grew up fast is the politest way to put it. But I had some fantastic young people, and when I say young people now, some of them have got families of their own, and some of their children are in Sea Cadets. You know, so it's kind of gone full circle. I feel quite old saying that out loud. But the realization is, I gave those young people the opportunities and the exposure that I was once given, and that was a huge reward for me. And then I was also, they found out that in that time, I worked in education in Nosey Community College. So that was my day job after airport transfer services. And I was seconded to the Special Educational Needs Department, and I was working as a SENCO, so supporting young people with educational needs and disabilities, and giving them and equipping them with skills and attributes that will support them moving on from independent living to money management and to numeracy and literacy skills. When I left the college, I was actually the section manager, and I was managing the team that looked after the personal care and the care plans for MLD and SLD students. So it was such a rewarding job. You just know when you're ready for a change, you just know change needs to come. And I became an education welfare officer. In our language, that's the WAGman. I became an education welfare officer in Cheshire for 2 years. And I looked after Halton and Warrington. Because I'm quite chatty and I like to get my sleeves rolled up and get my fingers dirty and get stuck in there. I was seconded to the Gypsy Traveller community, which was absolutely fantastic. I learned so much, and I met some integral people who taught me of their culture. And I got to see Appleby Horse Fair, which was fantastic.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've only seen that on the television. It looks amazing.
You know what? I would definitely recommend it. The culture, the vibrancy, the positivity. I didn't see any of the stereotypes that I was forewarned of. You know, I just saw people having a great time, embracing their culture and their heritage, and allowing outsiders in, which I thought was very inclusive. It was really good. But unfortunately, that job came to an end when Cheshire decided to disaggregate into East and West, and neither side wanted me.
Oh.
I know. So it was my brother, actually, who said, Kev, the Duke of Edinburgh's Award are looking for someone, reach out. So I reached out to my old DAV leader, Robbie Johnson, who happened to be the regional director at the time. And it wasn't until I was in the interview I put two and two together that was the Robbie Johnson who'd done my DAV Gold expedition when I was a young man.
Yeah.
So I went in for the interview. I remember it very vividly. I had a man cold. You can't get anything worse than that, can you?
No. Well done for going to the interview. Well done.
Thank you for that sympathy, because I need it. It was big red nose, watery eyes, couldn't speak. Oh, awful. And I got in there, and I wasn't confident about the interview and performance, but they saw something in me that I didn't, and they took me on. And I started in the Duke of Edinburgh's Award as a development coordinator. So I was looking at processing, reaching out, supporting the operational teams with their activities, manning the telephones and supporting the office, and just supporting the charity that opened me up to so many new opportunities through the Sea Cadets. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And then an opportunity came to be promoted to an operations officer. So I jumped at the chance, and I was appointed an operations officer, and I was responsible for Liverpool, the greatest city on the planet, if you ask me. And I covered the whole of Liverpool City region, Cumbria, because it was local, and the Isle of Man, because I'm a good swimmer. Yeah. So I kind of looked after that patch, which was fantastic. And I worked with people like Sharon Jardine, who was the DV manager at Liverpool City Council at the time, Paul Killam. And I just got to meet some really inspirational people who were as passionate as me about supporting young people. So we got on really, really well. And then they introduced a new tier in the Duke of Edinburgh's Award because it was growing, and I became what's called an operations manager. And I was then responsible for the operations officers who looked after Liverpool City region, Cheshire, Warrington, and a little rock that escaped thousands of years ago called the Isle of Man. What I'm really, really proud of in those achievements, when I took on the arduous, and it was an arduous task as DV was growing, it was changing. We had a new chief executive, we had new pressures, and they were a charity. So they needed to rely on income. But there was about 6,000 young people partaking in the DV program. And for me, that sounded great. It was fantastic, but it wasn't enough. So with my fantastic team of operations officers, we come up with a strategy, we viewed it, we looked at it. And when I stood down of my role, only in February just gone, There was just under 15,000 young people doing their Duke of Edinburgh's Award in the Liverpool region, Warrington and the Alabama, which I'm hugely proud of. It sounds like a great stat, doesn't it? But when I tell you that's just under 4% of the eligible population, there's still a long way to go. You know, and these young people are worthy of these opportunities and should take them and seize them and reap the rewards from them personally.
And it's something for everyone, isn't it? Anyone can do TV, you know, it's considered a big thing of public schools and that they're all involved and stuff like that. But
yeah, and that's what I want to change.
You know, anyone should be allowed to have a go, shouldn't they? It doesn't matter where you come from.
100%. And that's where you can introduce the word of stigma. So if I say to you, I work for the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, people already have a preconceived opinion of what that is and who it's for. So if I go in and say, I'm actually representing the world's leading development program for young people,
yeah,
then I get the interest, and then I tell them it's the Duke of Edinburgh's Award. You know, so it's about getting people in to see the value before they form an opinion, because opinions are very easy to form, but once you've got experience and exposure, then you can have an informed opinion, which is completely different.
Yeah.
So I was done 12 years with the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, so I was there quite some time, and I met the royal family, some fantastic celebrities and supporters. But the biggest celebrity for me was meeting and celebrating the successes of the young people. For me, that was the highlight. And to go back to my old school, Prescott School, and present some Duke of Edinburgh's Awards to some pupils in there and see some of my old teachers was absolutely fantastic for me.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I was slightly offended when I was approached to become an old boy. I don't think I'm at that stage. Well, yeah, it was absolutely fantastic to do that. But there was something not fulfilling me. I wasn't getting that full circle. So I worked in education, which is educating young people for the scary world of adulthood. I then worked in the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, which is developing soft skills within young people to prepare them for the world of work. But I never actually put a young person in work.
Okay.
So that's where Merseyside Community Training kind of make that full circle for me. So they actually support young people into the employment market and the labour market, which was just an exciting thing, a really huge exciting thing. And I went in there and it's almost like I've had a second lease of life, because when you get to the levels of management within the DfE, you see less and less of the young people. So it's hard to stay motivated and keep your finger on the pulse. So to be, dare I say, thrown in at the deep end, face to face with young people, supporting them with sessions and classes and workshops and mentoring circles, and actually mentoring some young people who are young entrepreneurs in their own right, is just so rewarding for me. And it's just put that, not a fire in my belly, there's a fairness in my belly, because the young people we work with at Merseyside Community Training are not your average young people. They are stars who have had their lights put out, is the best way to put it. They've been let down by maybe educational systems, local authority. Some of them have actually been let down by their own families. So there's huge trust issues and there's huge low self-worth and social anxiety matters there. And what we say at MCT is, come and speak to us. Come and speak to us. All we ask for you as a young person is be passionate. Be passionate about what you want to do, and we'll facilitate your success in getting you there. So the way we kind of encapsulate that, we have the 3 Ps at MCT. Passion is the key one. Are you passionate? Do you want to work? Do you want to set up your own business? Do you want to be inspired? Do you want to be exposed? Then if you are, come to Merseyside Community Training. We are based in Birkenhead, but we cover the Liverpool City region, and we'll work with any young person from 16 to 24 who wants to increase their chances of securing employment. The next P is a pathway. We will explore avenues and opportunities and expose them to new sectors, people, skills, attributes, probably release skills and attributes within them that they never even knew they possessed. And we'll do some work with them directly. And the way you can look at that is we start them, and nothing grows or stands strong without a good foundation. And that's what we want to do. So before we even introduce our young people to the labour market, we've got to make sure they've got a good foundation to stand on. Now, we've supported young people who are homeless, who are victims of abuse, neglect, mental health issues, social anxiety issues, people who have had a medical condition who have gone undiagnosed that we've supported, being diagnosed with ADHD, ASD. You know, and what it is, we're one of the few organisations that have come in these young people's lives who have actually invested in them rather than a process. And that speaks volumes. And seeing those young people from the start of the Entrepreneurs Academy to being at the Outdoor Education Centre, being on the zip wire with confidence, with smiles. And you could, dare I say, for the first time in a long time, probably without a care in their world, they had fun. And it was so rewarding to see. And what we do then, we kind of expose them to training, support, placements within employment. We get professionals to come in from different sectors and share their experiences, warts and all, personal, professional, and take them on that journey, share their journey with these young people to let them know it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to fall down, but it's finding the strength to pick yourself back up again. And that's what MCT kind of focuses on quite strongly.
That's right. And don't you think a lot of people, especially young ones, they think everything has to run perfectly. They don't understand that you do make mistakes. That's part of the journey. And anyone who's hugely successful has had failure after failure, usually, to get to where they are. If anyone's given everything on a plate and they rise without any issues, the fall's going to come later.
There'll be a big one.
You have to have knocks on your way. That is part of the ladder. The steps don't go like that. They go up, down, and up again. And it is okay to make mistakes, isn't it? It's okay to get wrong.
Mistakes is the best way for us to learn, because if you make the mistake and learn from it, then that's an opportunity. Keep making the same mistake, then there could be an issue, and that's what we say to young people. And some of our young people who want to set up their own business from other establishments have turned around and said, all startups fail. 90% of startups don't make it; they fail. And we say, there's some truth in that. Startups do fail, but young entrepreneurs succeed because they're passionate, because they're driven, because they're focused, and they know what they want. And that's to highlight what you said, Sandra, is some of them will hit some barriers, hit some pitfalls, hit some stumbles, but they'll also reach some highs and have some achievements and win some successes. And that's what we do. We facilitate their success, whether they're looking for employment in a specific sector or whether they want to be brave and bold and have an idea that they want to turn into a business, then we will work with those young people. And
how long is the program for? Sorry, Kev, how long is the program for? How long do the young people come to you for?
Yeah, the Young Entrepreneur is a 6-month program, but their membership is a 12-month membership. All of our memberships are 12 months long, and any young person who joins MCT can access all of our facilities. We've got a hub there with quiet workstations, a vocational library, internet access, print facilities, webcams, tea and coffee, and dare I say, nice biscuits too.
Biscuits.
And we also have on site, we work in partnership with NEO, which is they have a community cafe in there, and all of our members who come to our facility will get free food, hot food. So if they come for a morning session, it's a free breakfast, and if they come for an afternoon session, it's a free lunch. And MCT will bill for that, because nobody lands on an empty stomach. We want a young person to come and focus on their career, not focus on, I'm hungry. We've also got access to a food bank on site. So if any young person is struggling and needs to take some food home and other perishable items, then let us know and we'll make that facility available to them. We also work in partnership with Urban Bikes, with Matt and his team. And so if any young person who gets a job and is struggling with transport, we'll work in partnership with them to secure them a bike within their price range and also within their means. So they have another means of transportation to get to and from work. So we are a partnership organisation. We do a lot of collaboration. We're collaborators, not competitors. And we are passionate, completely passionate about supporting every young person who is passionate about not finding a job, finding their career. And there's a big difference. That's what we want. And then that leads me on to the final P within MCT, which is a positive destination. And we say a positive destination because it's their choosing. It's their destination. It's where they want to get to. If we do it for them, and the day we let go of their hand is the day they could lose faith, lose confidence, and that opportunity not remain. And that's why we ask them to stay members for 12 months, because we've all been in a new job. We've all started a new career. And normally 10 to 15 weeks into that career, that chimp in the brain says, you've bit off more than you can chew. You've made the wrong decision. You shouldn't have done this. You should have stayed where you are. And that's where MCT comes in, because not everybody in their family has got people who are in employment who can recognize that and support them through that. We want them to come back to us, and we can say, once we've pulled them off the ceiling or the wall, depends how high they got, is that's normal. We've been there. We understand. Let's talk it through. and then keep them on the, dare I say, the right pathway that they picked to keep their positive destination a positive one. And that's kind of encapsulates what we do at MCT.
Brilliant.
Amazing. And I think that's, I think, as you're saying, you know, when you were talking about strong foundations, I think your personal strong foundations were, you know, you had the support network of the Sea Cadets, and then you had the support network of like the DofE and you know, people like that. And I think being around like-minded people, and people who've got your back and people who say, you know, you can do this, and is a massive plus on absolutely anything. So what sort of things are the young people wanting to do or set up, or young entrepreneurs, because they have amazing ideas, don't they, these young people?
We've got 12 young entrepreneurs on the program at the moment, and what's unique about our young entrepreneurs program is they're actually being paid by us, so they don't have to worry about finances. And for the first time in their life, some of our young entrepreneurs are receiving a salary, which is fantastic for them. It's a big sense of achievement. Some of the businesses that we have, we've got a young lady called Chantel Louise, who has suffered a lot with social anxiety, didn't have confidence in herself at all or her ability, but was a naturally gifted artist, naturally gifted, self-taught as well.
Wow.
So when she exhibited some of her work, and to get onto the program, all a young person has to do is send a 2-minute video with their name and what their business idea is. We're not interested in your school, your academic attainment, whether you've got a criminal record, whether you wear designer clothes or your postcode. We're interested in the individual. And that's, if you've got passion and you've got an idea, share it with us, because it could lead on to something exciting for us all. And what Chantel done, got the confidence to do that, and she submitted a video, and our board watched it, and she got selected. And what the selection process is then is come in and meet the board and do your best pitch. You don't even know it's a pitch, but it's more like a two-way conversation. We'll find out where you are. Is this the right pathway for you? We use Simon Sinek, the theory of why. So why this one? Why do you want to explore this one? And make sure that they're making the right decision. It's not a whim. Yeah. And then we'll invest. And we say to our young entrepreneurs at the start, a bit like a dragon's den, if you want someone to invest in your business, then come back to us and we will find some investors who can put into your company and get it to the next stage. Out of all of the 12 young entrepreneurs who are operating now, not one of them has come back for an investment. They're all running a profitable company, which is registered with Companies House. They're making a turnover, they're making a profit, they've extended the network. Some of them are actually having negotiations internationally. So this is the scale of people we introduced them to. Yeah, so Chantel is doing special effects, makeup, portraits. She's exhibiting some of her work in Birkenhead, and she's in negotiations with some other people who want to commission some of her work. So this is fantastic. Oh, wow. Yeah, and we've got another young entrepreneur who springs to mind, who's called Matt, and he does a media company. So he does short videos and promotional videos, and he's kind of working with some organizations, individuals, and companies who want to use his software and skill set to promote what they're doing. And he is such an amenable, accommodating young man that everybody would want to work with him when they meet him. He's just such a likable guy, but he didn't have the confidence. You know, he didn't know how to promote himself, pitch himself. He didn't know what his brand was before he came to MCT. Now he's got a powerful brand and he's got meaning behind that. He's showcasing that brand and he's securing some really strong clients along the way. And that's what's really good. And we've got others in there who make bespoke jewelry, beauticians, phones by night. So if you're on your way home from work and you've broke your mobile phone, drop it off at a pickup point. Owen, who was ASD, he's more of a night owl than a skylark, to put it politely. So while we're all curled up, sleeping and knocking heads, he's probably awake fixing somebody's phone. And then he'll drop the phone off the following morning at the same pickup point. So when you go to work, you drive by and your phone is fixed. So
what a great idea that is. What an unbelievable idea.
And his surname is
everyone
Knight.
goes, oh, the shops are all closed. We can't. What a genius idea.
Exactly. And that's his business. So we've got young people who develop websites.
Oh, his surname's Knight, did you say?
Yeah, his surname is Knight. So his business is Phones by Night. With the K. You know, so, and he's got his own logo and everything. So they're really doing well. We get some external facilitators who come in and talk about money management. We get all of our young people to do a credit check. And then because if they want to grow the business, they've got to make sure that they got the credit, because personal credit can affect business and vice versa. Then we introduced something called APR, interest. What is interest? How do you work it? How do you manage it? They've set up bank accounts in their business names. They're registered with Companies House. They've got insurance, adequate insurance as well, because one of our young entrepreneurs is a freelance climbing coach. So she's doing that, and she's got some work in boardrooms, awesome walls, and some freelance too. So it's kind of like, as much as their idea and their ambition is, we'll do that, but we also need to ensure that we manage expectations as well, because some young people's abilities can't reach the goals that they want, and we don't want to have disappointments. We want to have realistic targets, and we want to make sure that we work together. And that's why they have a mentor who will work with them during their time on the 6-month program, and grow each other. To be honest, I get just as much out of those sessions, probably more on some of them, than the mentee, and it's a really great opportunity. And that's what I really love about MCT. It's operating at grassroots level, and it's allowing ordinary young people to achieve extraordinary things.
Brilliant.
That is phenomenal. And you'd be skipping into work, wouldn't you, to find out all their ideas? And I think what you're saying, watching their business grow and confidence. And what really touched me was when you turned around and said that they were having banter with each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's for me, that was like, that means that they're just having a boss time. If they can dance with each other and they, they're not, they come in and they couldn't speak and now they're having bands, that just shows the level of like how they're feeling inside. So that really touched me. Amazing. Yeah. So Jane Morris is listening, and Jane was our guest 3 weeks ago. She says, clever name for his business, Phones by Night. Good for the young people to have ambition. So well, I think we could talk to you forever, Kev, but unfortunately we do have a bit of a schedule. We have a red face moment. Okay, so San, have you got a red face? She froze on us.
Well, my red face, as we said, I'm back out and about now. So I had a bit of a red face yesterday, but fortunately it was you around, when I panicked because I thought I'd lost my door key of me place that I just moved into, and I had the car full of stuff, and I was like, and then I remembered where I'd put it in the car. I was going, you'll have to ask your dad to come round because he had a key because he'd done some work and everything. And she went, no, hang on. And then I found it. So that was all right, but it was only Hal. So that wasn't too red face. It's just typical of me, really. But I'm doing all right at the minute, touch wood. What about you, Helen? Have you had any?
Well, not really. Well, sort of. So it was my mum's birthday today. And so as a little surprise, we went to see Hairspray, and I thought, well, we'll book it in the daytime. And I thought it would be dead cool if me and Phil and my mum and dad go, and the 4 of us all go just for a little afternoon out and stuff like that. So Phil's already seen Hairspray, but my dad has never seen the film. And my dad was 80 like a couple of weeks ago, and he's dead cool, like he's dead trendy and stuff. So but I think he didn't have a clue what was going on. It was like, but he loved the music and he loved the dance and all that. And at the end, Phil, I said, "Do you follow the story?" And he went, "No." So I think maybe my red face was like, maybe I should have taken him to something else. We did go to the cricket for his birthday, but no, he loved it, and he was very appreciative of the actors and everything like that. But maybe it wasn't the right show to take my dad to. So Kev, what's your red face? Have you got one, or are you quite safe?
No, I think it's quite similar to Sam's, to be honest. I got a car. I've got like a nice big estate car, and it's all push button. You don't need a key and all this type of stuff. So I'm used to keys. I'm a bit old fashioned. So I kind of I was decorating at the weekend, like I said, and I couldn't find my car key. So I was like, where is it? I've lost my car key. So naturally, your instinct is blame anybody but yourself. Have you seen it? You look, you turn the house upside down, and you kind of like, I've lost it. And then it was, I've just put a wash on. And with it being an electric key, I was panicking. And so I went, you know what? I've got to go to work. I'll sort it out when I get home. So I got the spare key out the garage, got in the car, opened the cup holder where I normally put the key, and the key was already there. So all night and didn't even lock it. But at least it wasn't in the washing machine.
That's a win. That's a win in our game. That's a definite win. So shout out to the grown-ups. Any grown-ups who've done amazing things. So I want to give a shout out to Danny de Brabander, who was a guest on our show, one of our very first guests. They've raised £60,000 now for their charity, which is amazing. So massive well done to all of them. And over to you, San.
Well, he was on my list as well, Hel.
Okay.
But I'm going to do a shout out to Sophie Clark, who's been a guest on ours, and Chelsea Lee Stokes as well. Chelsea Lee Stokes was the popular vote for Miss Liverpool, and they were in the Miss England competition this week, which is it's got quite a different take on it now. It's about what people do, how good they are, and volunteering, and the character of person, etc., and achievement. And Sophie Clark, who was the absolute star of the show, who sang, and she sings classical opera, etc. She's just amazing, isn't she? And she put a little clip on of her singing, and all the contestants are walking around. It was on at the Barbican in London, you know. While she's down, meanwhile, because she's doing a master's, she goes busking. As you have to get a license to do that in London, and she goes to Wembley and here and there. And she busks all around and then appears in this big red dress of a nighttime. And I just think, just fantastic. She's so down to earth and gifted, and I just love her so much. So, and Chelsea's brilliant. She's passionate about body image and stuff, and people being confident in their own skin. So, a massive shout out to both of them as well. And then also, last one, it's on the 8th of September, there's a clash of two big events in our city. So, the Hour for Others have got their gala dinner, which is the Gatsby one, which is one I'm going to. And the John Haynes Foundation. So James passed away, and they set up a charity to help people. And it's their gala dinner on the same night. So I think we may still have tickets, I'm not sure. So just to put it out there, if you Google either of them, they'll come up straight away. Both great charities. And that's all the shout outs for me for Grown Ups today.
Well done. Kev, have you got any shout out to Grown Ups?
Yeah, I think the grown-ups I want to give kudos to the positive influences within the city and that I've been introduced to within this new role. And two people in particular is Jonathan Quinn and Sandra Kirkham, who were the thought, and it's their baby. MCT is their creation. They saw a need to support disadvantaged and disengaged young people with employability and set up Merseyside Community Training and paid the salaries, got people on board, extended the reach, and turned it into what it is today. And I hope I do them justice by carrying their legacy forward and getting more young people engaged. But Sandra Kirkham, again, has set up a foundation which is available for young people, disadvantaged young people, to access. And she's put it in the name of her late father, which is accessible for young people to access there. So funding is available. So she's just such a powerhouse and just a huge inspiration to me. And the passion and positivity that she speaks with just makes me go that little bit further. Who needs Orange Lucasade when you've got a Sandra Kirkham? You just can't. And I'd also like to give a huge mention to Jim Graves, who's the chairman as a volunteer in Merseyside Adventure Sailing Trust. And this man is running around the city at the moment, supporting young people to get placements to go on a tall ship and experience life at sea. Develop them holistically within camaraderie, teamwork, trust, all these type of things. And he's going out there and he's actually supporting two of our young people to experience that opportunity on a tall ship. And he also, on top of all the work he does at MAST, he volunteers with MCT as well and delivers some sessions with our young people. So those, for me, huge inspirations. And a way we want to give a recognition to all of our supporters, volunteers, and partners is we've got our first anniversary coming up in October this year. And we also have the first graduation ceremony of our Young Entrepreneurs Academy, which is taking place on the 21st of October. And I'm delighted that the Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside has agreed to attend and mark this milestone within our history. So loads of positive people I'm blessed to be surrounded with. And no doubt I'm going to meet many more on my current journey.
Oh, fantastic. Jim Graves is just, anyone who knows him will just say what an amazing person. And he's, no disrespect, he won't mind me saying this, but he's long in the tooth, isn't he? And he's just fantastic guy. What he does is just, my nephew went on the tall ships through him. It was just fantastic. Yeah, brilliant.
Wow. And then that's an amazing opportunity, isn't it? Like, I personally wouldn't want to go on the tall ships. I wouldn't mind going on them and climbing up and down and just while they were in the dock. But yeah, I don't want to go sailing on them. Thank you very much. But yeah, amazing opportunity for young people, isn't it? Really? So we were talking before about a skill share, Kevin, and you were going to share a skill with us. So a skill share that people can go out and about. So we've got our skill share, but then we've got our positive challenge. So we're going to do a skill share first.
Yeah, I think the skills for me is always staying in control of your feelings and your emotions, because that's one of the few things in life we can control, and we can have that. And just remember, if we feel ourselves getting a little bit bubbled or a little bit rivaled, just take comfort in the fact that anger is the gift we give ourselves for other people's stupidity, but don't hang on to that anger for too long.
Wow. Wise words there, Kevin.
You listening, son?
Yeah, easier said than done. I like the way
it's very true.
It can be challenging to hold to look after your emotions, to keep them in check. And I would say a lot of people would be surprised. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was a very quick-tempered person, and people always say, I can't imagine you being like that and everything. But I was. But when I worked for the airline, when people would say things, I would visualize my wages, and I used to visualize the bottom right-hand corner, which was my take-home. And I think, if I say what I want to say to that person, I'm losing that. And that was a consequence. Yeah. I think, is that worth that? Plus all the perks that went with the job was amazing. And I just thought, what am I prepared to lose that to say what I want to say to him?
I think I'm on board, pardon the pun.
Yes, good one. Yeah. No, and it is very difficult, especially for young people. I think as we get a little bit older, I would say we learn a little bit more about it. Oh, that you were frozen, son, and then you did like a super quick thing where you said, and then a few words come on. Which is quite cool. You're back in the room. But no, I'm just saying it's quite difficult, isn't it, for young people to sort of get those feelings and not lose the temper and stuff. I'm quite chilled, so I'm all right with things like that. But I think as you get older, you just. So I think one of our, I can't remember who it was, and they said their great wisdom was, will it matter in 5 years?
I held on to that. I use that all the time. Will it matter in 5 years? Probably not. Let it go.
So let it go, yeah. And I think you can go even, I think, like, will it matter next week sort of thing, or, no. So don't like rise to it and stuff. Yeah. And now we have a positive challenge. So a positive challenge that people can go out and about and do their challenge this week. And that's to you again, Kev.
Yeah, so a challenge I would set people to do is do at least one thing a day that you're proud of. Ooh. And sometimes that can even be a little bit selfish. Do something for you. But as long as you're proud of it, my advice would be do it. Not half-heartedly. Give it your all.
Yeah, do it with purpose. And before, when you were talking about the successes of the young people and things like that.
Yes.
And I'm a big, massive celebrate the wins and shout your successes from the rooftop. And I think sort of the British culture, we're a bit like, we come across as, like boasting and stuff. And I always say, no, you're an inspiration to somebody, because somebody might be watching you and thinking, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. So I always think, celebrate the wins and shout them from the rooftops and share them with as many people as you can.
Definitely.
And it's like it's the same with charity work as well. With people, when we were young, we were brought up not to say. If you did anything for charity, donated, you didn't speak about it, it was done. But the charities say, please tell people, because if you tell people what you're doing for charity, and everyone you've done loads of charity work in your life, Kevin. Everyone we have has done something either for charity or on a voluntary basis during the whole lockdown. That's what we started it about. And I think that's really important, that people do share what they've done and say, because it will inspire someone else.
Yeah. 100%. So all I'm going to say is thank you so much for coming on, Kev. You've been an inspiration, and I probably could have sat here listening to you for hours and hours now as you speak. I was like absorbed in the screen. We didn't even ask you any questions because we were just like absorbed with what you were saying. And Sandra did say you were amazing. Yeah, Sandra said you were amazing, so she was right there. And a massive thanks to San, and I'm made up that you're in your new home, and you know it's going to be
Yeah.
boss. And so that's cool. And we're going to hand it over to you, Kev, for our closing quote, because we've got about 30-ish seconds, and you're going to give us your closing quote.
Yeah, excellent. So I always believe that the mantra is yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present. So take every day and cherish it and support others along the way.
Amazing. So thank you so much again for your time. Thank you, San, and we will see everybody next week. And we'll put all of Kev's details on the page, and you can get in touch if anybody wants to support MCT. That's amazing. And we'll see everybody next week.
I look forward to it. Have a great
you.
evening, everyone.